Happy Death Day is the story of a girl named Tree who would fit in just fine with the plastics for Mean Girls. She lives that kind of life. And unfortunately, her life is cut very short when somebody dressed up in a baby mask kills her. Then she wakes up the following morning and realizes she's living the same day over and over again. So she lives the same days over and over again, trying to figure out how to eventually find this person who is killing her at the end of this day and hopefully reset her life. This is a story we've seen in various forms before, Groundhog Day obviously being the most obvious one, Edge of Tomorrow. Just this year, a film called Before I Fall had a very similar storyline, which I did see but didn't review. It was alright, it was enjoyable. And this film follows basically the same type of plot, and so in that way it can feel very old. What this film does differently though than other horror films is that it's very tongue-in-cheek. In fact, I wouldn't even really call this a horror movie. This is honestly more of a comedy. It felt like Legally Blonde mixed with Mean Girls and Groundhog Day and Before I Fall and Edge of Tomorrow. It felt like a whole bunch of other movies mixed into one, but it's definitely a lot more lighthearted than I expected going in because I actually didn't watch any of the trailers. I had maybe seen a few seconds of things here and there at a movie theater, but I never really paid attention to the trailers. I just knew the concept, and I didn't really expect the film to be as lighthearted or as enjoyable as it ended up being. This is by no means a great horror movie, and I would certainly not say it's a great film. Happy Death Day is a very commercial movie. It's a movie that a lot of audiences are going to enjoy, especially young teens. It's PG-13, the violence is very minimal, and it's fun enough to enjoy on a surface level, and it actually features some pretty good performances, namely by Jessica Rothe and Ruby Modine. Both of these actresses do a fantastic job here. The direction is also pretty good. I like the way Christopher Landon, who made this film, who also wrote a lot of the Paranormal Activity movies and directed Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse, I like the way he blocks scenes. His action sequences, his chase sequences are pretty exciting. They're good looking. This is a well-directed movie, a surprisingly well-directed movie actually. But the downfall of it is that it just feels so much like other films. Gratefully, it is tongue-in-cheek enough to actually acknowledge that. A character direct references Groundhog Day in this movie when she tries to explain her problem to a friend. And so it's very much so self-aware. And it has a lot of cheesy, corny montages that are trying to be funny, and I didn't expect that. I honestly just thought it was a straight horror movie going in with the concept of reliving the same day over and over again. Unfortunately, though, that does take away from the scare factor because I didn't find the film scary at all. There's a lot of overuse of jump scares, and they're very weak jump scares, so if you like jump scares, you'll probably not really find much to get out of these. If you can get past the first act, which features some really insufferable characters, because that's the route the film takes, which is also very cliched. The lead heroine is, as I said, she would fit in just fine in Mean Girls, and so she's pretty rude to everyone. And you're like, my God, it's kind of hard to watch her treat all of these people like trash. And it follows that unfortunately cliched storyline where she has to figure out how to be a better person and she's reliving the same day over and over again. And so there really aren't too many surprises here. Speaking of surprises, once you do learn who the culprit is, when you look back on the film, it doesn't really hold together. You're like, I don't really know if that makes sense. But I'd be lying if I said I wasn't at least slightly entertained by this movie. It plays with some genre tropes that we're used to seeing, and it has a little bit of a role reversal in certain ways that I thought was pretty clever. But at the same time, it also gives in to a lot of the cliches of the genre, so it's kind of a mixed bag. I'm going to give Happy Death Day a C+. Guys, thank you so much as always for watching. Friday the 13th is coming up very soon, and I'm going to have a very special review of one of the Friday the 13th movies. I'm excited to bring that to you guys. Thank you very much, and if you like this, you can click right here and get stuck my eyes.